it's gonna hurt my head. But then on Tuesday, gonna grab a DVD, smoke some shit and chill in fucking bed. Welcome everybody to this week's DVD haul. I'm Alyx and Sarah, and I'm here with a guy we've been talking about in the last few DVD hauls, Mr. Jack Falvey. What's going on, sir?
Yo, yo, yo. Excited to be back. Been a little while, and excited to talk about this.
Talk about a little something different, you know. It's still movie related, still entertainment related, but we're going hard physical media. I mean, just the turgid hardness of physical media. You know what I'm saying?
You said it, so I don't have to.
Great. So. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet. Hit the like, hit the bell, so you get notified anytime Binge Media drops a video. And our friends over at parksense.com, go there, pick out some room spray, some candles, some wax melts, and at the end of it, use the code BingeNow20 for 20% off your entire order. Jack, Pete just did a four for four. Not only did he do a 4 for 4 recently, he bought a entire lot. I'm gonna say a lot, right? Like a singular lot of, I think he said like 300 movies, 300 DVDs or something like that.
Damn.
And he breaks down like the pricing and like how he will if he has doubles, and as you know, triples are best.
Triples are best.
Yeah, so if he has doubles, then he'll kind of inspect the disc, keep the good one, and then sell back to the other one. So he's got his own little racket going on.
Yeah.
And but you know, one of the things that we talked about that came out of that conversation towards the end was, you know, we're kind of hyping up your appearance and like what you're going to be talking about today, which is, you know, obviously physical media, but your wheelhouse is very different from Pete's. And that's kind of what we were talking about. I didn't want to spoil it too much because I wanted you to have the floor. But he's a title collector, right? Like that's his thing. He's collecting titles. He doesn't really care about the format too much, whether it's Blu-ray, whether it's DVD. I don't think he has a preference. I know he has a preference, and it's DVD specifically because you can't. It doesn't save your place if you decide you're going to go do something else and you're not going to watch the movie at that point.
Sure.
How true is that? Is it disc related or is it a hardware related thing?
That's a setting you can change on the player depending on the player that you have. Yeah. So you know, the player that I have right now is an Xbox Xbox Series X. Mm-hmm. Which is like it's perfectly adequate. It's not the best that you can get really, but it works, right? And it will save your place if you want it to. If you don't want it to, you can change that setting. I actually don't know if it's a per disc or a per device setting. I've never even thought about it, but I can find out. So maybe for episode 2, I'll have an answer on that.
All right, nice. Okay. So he's a title collector, and you know, when it comes to like steelbooks and special editions, not really his bag. He doesn't. I think he doesn't want to pay more than like $5 for a DVD or something like that, and that might even be too high. But you, on the other hand, have over the years let me into your little hobbyist 4K steelbook collection. I don't want to get too far into it, not only because I'm a little hungover and I forget some of the details, but you're going to be way better at explaining it than I am.
Yeah. No, I mean, my background, we probably talked about it over the years, right? We've been at this for a decade now, but you know, when I first started out, I was probably like 13 years old, right? And abused my dad's Columbia House subscription and grabbed everything I could, right? And those were the DVD days. That eventually turned into a Netflix subscription, right? And, you know, when you're a kid, you realize you can build a computer, you can copy those DVDs for yourself. And I may have allegedly done a fair amount of that in my younger days. And just amassed a collection of both, you know, purchased and copied over 5,000 DVDs, right? Just a crazy amount of stuff. And it was to a sickening degree, right? Like you get to a point where you're just collecting stuff to collect it. You're not going to watch it.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Becomes like a compulsive thing. And, you know, ended up moving out on my own. And moved to the first apartment, didn't really have enough space to actually display the stuff. So a lot of it lived in boxes for like a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we were going to move to the next place, it's, a couple of things happened at the same time, right? It was before the real like streaming boom, but I had awareness that I could rip movies to a hard drive and then have the hard drive on my computer plugged into my TV. So all of a sudden there was like a utilitarian thing about it where like, okay, the stack of boxes that is the Sopranos full series is, this amount of plastic, it weighs this amount, and I'm moving into apartments where I have limited space, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I could take that Sopranos and The Wire and all the Star Trek movies and all the Star Wars movies, and all of a sudden they can all fit onto a hard drive the size of my phone, right? It just became a practicality thing.
I
And
think it just really quick. I think that's my like that was my whole thing, like a utilitarian perspective, like you're saying.
yeah,
So last time, like I was a very early cord cutter, and not only that,
yeah, of
like when Netflix first started their business, 3 DVDs a week, fuck yeah, let's go. You know what I mean?
course.
Like,
Yeah.
um, and like I sold all of my VHSs. I collected DVDs. I wound up selling all of that. So I got, a very small collection now, but it's 100% because it's just the utility of I don't have to knock things over. I don't have to think about like moving shit. I don't have to think about it taking up so much space. So yeah,
Yep.
sorry to interrupt.
No, not at all. So, that happened and I ended up selling most of the collection. And I kept like some stuff that I still have today. Some editions came with like postcards or production stills or
Yeah.
booklets and stuff like that. And there was some stuff that I really liked. And actually behind me on those shelves, if you look hard enough, there's some stuff down there that came from some of those special editions that I had 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, sold everything because it just made sense at the time. Moved into a couple more apartments. And then Blu-ray became the thing. And I was always a big believer in the idea of like the movie's the movie, right? It's either a good movie or a bad movie.
Sure.
It doesn't matter if it's in like incredible resolution and the best audio quality. If it's good, it's still going to be good on an iPod or on a shitty TV, right? But then I saw Blu-ray and I was like, oh, okay, technology's jumped forward here. Because if you look at a movie like, I think the one that really impressed me the most was Inglourious Bastards. There was a DVD of Bastards that looked pretty good. The Blu-ray looked incredible to me. So it was this immediate jump, and I was like, oh, wow. Okay, I think I'd like to get into this again. And the same kind of thing happened. I got to maybe like 200 titles, and then I was moving into another apartment, and I was just like, God, this just isn't for me. Like, I would rather have it all on the hard drive, and I don't want to have to shuffle the stuff around. So ended up selling those. And again, kept a few of them, right? Just a couple sentimental titles, nothing crazy. And then, 10 years passed, I'd say. And, I explored like making my own media server and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, we're at a point now where every streaming service has what you want. And even if you have to go out and purchase something digitally, it's probably out there somewhere in the world. So you can get your hands on pretty much whatever you want to see.
True that.
But in the last few years, there's been a lot of talk and some science to back it up that these 4K Blu-rays are actually potentially the best resolution and the best physical media is ever going to be. Because there's a certain resolution that the human eye can see, and we've pretty much hit it with 4K. There may be an 8K advent. There are 8K TVs out there, but what people are finding is that you like the difference is imperceptible to the human eye. There are actually technological differences with like mini LED technology versus OLED TVs,
Mm-hmm.
where you would see a difference, but it would still be 4K resolution. So with this advent, it seems like an interesting thing's happened. A lot of the studios have stopped releasing stuff themselves, and they've outsourced their licensing to all of these other companies that are interested in releasing the physical media. The quantity of physical media sales is down slightly, but the quality, I would say, is much higher, and it's become more of a niche hobby. The thing that attracted me back to it, though, was I saw a couple titles in person, and I was completely sold on it as a technology and as like the standard for which whatever that film would be, and I think something also kind of bothered me after such a long time of being on the podcasts and being a fan of movies and into the hobby. I got to a point where, yeah, I was going to the theater a fair amount, but I didn't actually have like ownership anymore of like the physical manifestation of the hobby, right? Like I'm a film fan, but I didn't have more than maybe like 3 movies
I think
that I
that,
owned.
yeah, I think you're kind of playing into like how I feel right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Or have felt for, let's say, the last 15 years or so, being employed by various movie websites and
yeah,
then starting your own. Uh, I'm a huge, obviously, I'm a huge movie fan,
right.
but it's not reflected in, you see, posters behind me,
Yeah,
obviously, courtesy of you.
there you go.
But like in terms of the actual physical media, it's just not. I'm not a big collector to begin with,
Yeah,
and so like that doesn't really. So like, there's a little bit of insecurity as a movie fan where I'm like, I don't really have anything to show for it, but then I
yeah,
also feel like, well, why should I? Like it's in my heart. I just it's in all the reviews that we do and stuff like that.
absolutely. And I think two things happened for me at the same time. One, I started to feel like, when these streamers are putting movies out and then they're not putting them on physical media, it's almost as if they're this like disposable thing that happens and then could just like go away to history, right? Which to me is kind of wrong because if
Yeah.
it's an art form, I mean, not every movie is a piece of art, right? Like we know this, but like if it's an art form, it should be cataloged and like saved somewhere.
Mhm.
So something about that didn't rub me the right way. But the other thing, and I got to give Pete credit on this one, it was Pete and it was my other buddy, Mike. Both of them have their physical media collections, right? And on my friend Mike's side, it's much more music, but it's also movies. He loves
Mhm.
David Lynch, David Cronenberg, like weird surrealist stuff, right? Um, and I'm over his house, and we're kind of like looking through, and I'm grabbing titles off the shelf, and I'm just like, man, this stuff is cool. Like, what? God, I miss this. I
Yeah.
miss like
Mhm.
standing in front of the wall for an hour with somebody else who cares about it as much as you do, and just chopping it up, right?
Yeah.
And
Right.
being at Pete's, right? Like
Yep.
Pete's Bar, like that wall is tremendous, right? Like
His
you
whole
could stand
basement,
there.
and his whole basement is just
Absolutely.
like, yes, even if I'm not a film fan, I'm a fucking film fan down here.
Exactly, exactly. And there was something that made me want to jump back in, and it took me a long time to decide on whether or not I was going to do it. I mean, I took a good 6 months just kind of keeping an eye on the scene
Mhm.
and seeing that it really felt like there was this boom of like incredible quality for what is being put out there, um, and also just a great time to jump back in. I told myself at the beginning though, and I think I kind of had to go through the ebbs and flows of collecting over the years to come to where I am now, which is I'm very comfortable not buying everything. I don't care to buy everything. I don't need everything anymore.
Mhm.
I can get my hands on anything. Like I said, streamers all over the world are going to be carrying what I want on one of their services at some point.
Mhm.
Now it's more about, okay, I want to have the thing that sits on my shelf that is my membership into the club of like loving that movie or like or like being a fan, an active fan of that thing,
Mhm.
and there's something that gives me a little bit more ownership of it now. That's kind of what got me back in, and I've really been enjoying it so far.
You get a
um
little bit more skin in the game.
I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah. Yep.
It's like, yeah, that's the best way to put it. Yeah, I couldn't say it better. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, that's kinda how I felt doing, like, I wanted to do a DVD haul with Pete because he's picking these up every
yeah,
week, sometimes multiple times a week. Um, and like, DVD hauls are, pretty popular on YouTube as far as, like, collectors go and movie fans.
yeah,
Um, so I wanted to have some skin in the game and actually come up with, "Okay, well, what am I doing here?" I wanna bring something to the table. Last week, last time we did the DVD haul, I created my top 10 or my top 20 of all time. And, my whole thing of I'm going to collect physical media based on my top 20. And I went upstairs to my shelf and I just grabbed what I had and detailed it to Pete. And in my spreadsheet, I have, need it, want it, whatever. And whether or not I'm going to upgrade.
mm,
But to your point, grabbing, let's say, the Royal Tenenbaums Criterion Collection. It's DVD. I don't know that I need to upgrade to like I don't well, first of all, I don't know if they have like a Blu-ray Criterion Collection edition of that. Um, but flipping through and seeing all the different artwork and
Mm.
just especially Criterion, you just get so much supplemental material with it. And
Yeah,
so to your point, like I'm leafing through this stuff and I'm presenting it to Pete and I'm just like, yeah, and you got this, you got that. And I'm, starting to get excited again, like as a film fan.
absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I've enjoyed it in a different way now because I feel like I'm being way more intentional about
Yeah.
what I'm acquiring, right? Um, but yeah, so that kind of sets the table for our dive in and how I've gotten into the hobby over the last 2 years and any of the questions you might have about it. So,
Well, one of the things that I presented was a Scarface gift set that I had to review
oh,
for the old site.
did it have the shot glass in it and all that?
No, you're thinking
Ah,
of the Showgirls gift,
yes, yeah,
because I also had that too.
yeah.
And I
I
was
had
saying,
that.
like, as a girl dad, like, I'm not keeping that shit in my fucking house. I wound up
Yeah,
selling
probably not.
everything, but they were like
Probably,
pasties and a blindfold and shot glasses and everything. It's like,
yeah, a little rough, a little rough. Yeah.
so, what do you want to start on? What do you want? Tell me about like, a couple of things that we were talking about. I don't know if you want to really get into detail, but some other collectors that do specific, let's say, packaging.
Yeah, sure, sure. Yeah, so there's a bunch of people out there who are really focused on building their collection and making it as uh, impressive or as meaningful as they want it to be. There was a guy who I think he still operates. I know that there was some kerfluffle about like rights for a certain release or something. So I don't know whether or not he's still doing his thing. But it used to be called Blockbuster Box Sets. I think if you search it on Reddit, you'll probably find some of his older work. But he did like a Halloween box set. And what he would do is these like hard cardboard boxes for individual releases.
Mhm.
Um, I know the last I knew of what he was doing, he sort of expanded into trying to make cases and like inserts and slip covers. But he's been gone for a little while. He still has a YouTube channel where he talks about his collections and has some stuff on Etsy. But yeah, and I know the old site used to be theblockbusterboxsets.com.
Okay, yeah,
Um,
that's the one I just sent you. Okay, never mind.
yeah, okay. But yeah, I think he still sells some of his old product on Etsy. But I don't know how much he's been in operation these days. But I have found communities on Facebook and Reddit who are really into this and sort of took his methodology and made their own boxes
Yeah.
out of things.
Mhm.
Actually, I can probably let me think here. I do have one of his up here I can show you from back in the day. Let's see which one's a good one here. So many options, so many options. We'll go here. So this was Gladiator.
Can you put
So,
yeah, just bring that up to the cam again. Let me see that.
sure. This is the
Okay.
box,
Yep.
right?
Mhm.
So it's sort of like a hard cardboard box, right?
Mhm.
He grabs some artwork, puts it online, and then it fits your steel book, right? So
Mhm.
you could buy the steel book, buy the box, steel book in the box, and there you go. So it's a it might not mean anything to anybody else. Like if it sits on the shelf, sits on the shelf like this, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
If you buy the box, now it looks like this.
Mhm.
It's a little bit more premium feeling, hard cardboard, and it's a pretty nice product. Like I said, some of his stuff's on Etsy, and he's got like
Yeah, I'm
his
looking at it now,
own
yeah.
his own tutorials on how to make this stuff. And he's a really good guy, very highly encouraging of people to get into it themselves. But yeah, I'm not sure of his current status one way or the other, but I know his YouTube channel is still pretty active.
Yeah, yeah,
But
he just did one as recent as yesterday, so, yeah,
oh, okay, yeah,
he's still
yeah.
open.
So he's a good guy. You can reach out to him, and he'll tell you quite a bit about the process and how to go about making them. But the reason he did that is because all these boutique Blu-ray labels that are doing their own releases, that's what they do. They make these sort of hard cardboard boxes and they make a more premium product out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I actually pulled a couple titles off the shelf to talk to with you from the different labels to kind of map out what the scene looks like these days.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you want, we can jump into one of those right now.
Yep.
All right. So getting back into the hobby, I had to, this was the first one that I bought. I kept an eye on this for months. I saw that it was coming out, caught word of it. It's one of my favorite movies. I think it's a favorite of a lot of people on Binge, and it was coming out brand new 4K, original cut of the movie, all kinds of special features.
Skinamarink.
That is Arrow's premium edition of The Warriors.
Okay, I'm interested.
So this is Arrow releasing. Okay, now Arrow is a UK-based company, but they also release stuff in the US.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a cardboard box in a slipcover. Slipcover comes out inside the box, right? So there's your box, spine, artwork.
Damn, that's fucking awesome.
Goodies on the inside, right? So let's crack it open. You get the movie. Now, one thing that Arrow does is they make reversible artwork. So you can actually reverse this so that it's the same artwork that's on the box here.
That's cool. That's cool. I like that.
I like to show as much artwork as possible, so I flipped it so that I could see something different when I crack it open. Mm-hmm. It's got all the bonus feature stuff on the back. Mm-hmm. Crack this open. Multiple disc edition. You've got the 4K, and then the actually this one's kind of unique. This one is a second 4K disc that is the alternate cut of the movie alongside the bonus features.
Yep.
Sometimes Arrow will include a Blu-ray, sometimes not. This is a case where it's just the 4K stuff.
Yeah, copy that.
They also included a bunch of stickers from the gangs, so like baseball furies and all that stuff.
Oh, that's awesome.
So there you go. Was it Turnbull ACs, right?
ACs, the Boppers, yep.
You got the Lizzies, the Punks, the Riffs. Obviously the Warriors and the Rogues.
Yep.
Moonrunners, Electric Eliminators, and the Orphans. Just as fucking lame as you expect it to be, right? The Orphans logo. And then, that people tend to be mixed on postcards. They kind of are what they are. Like
the
cool to have.
I think they're cool. Yeah. I mean, those are great shots.
Yeah.
The bathroom fight that was fucking dope. That fucking silhouette of the baseball fury is
dude.
Yeah, it goes hard, man.
Yeah.
It's the Scarface gift set had lobby photos or lobby pictures, which aren't necessarily posters. But we did we had to look it up and see, all right, what the fuck is a lobby picture,
Yeah. I'm going to back up for this one. So they do include a poster. So that is their custom artwork that would be on the Blu-ray. And the poster is also reversible, so you get the original so you can put it up,
That's sick. Now, for those kind of things, if they come with a poster or, you have postcards in there, like, will you grab like a 5x7 frame or just like a poster frame and put those in there? Or do you like keeping the integrity of the packaging and keeping everything in there?
Mix of both. I find sometimes at the holidays, if I have like a Christmas or a Halloween movie, I'll put some stills out in frames, because they're like appropriate. I don't have one right now, but I used to have a copy of It's a Wonderful Life that had stills from the movie. So in one of my old apartments, we used to throw them in a couple of frames during Christmas time, which would, be kind of cool. But a little bit of mix of both. But then the booklet, right? So the booklet, let's see here, 100-page booklet, making of essays, reviews, all kinds of different stuff in here.
Production notes, things like that.
Production stills, production notes. Now, it depends on what. There you go, Walter Hill, OG, right?
Yeah.
But there's all kinds of stuff that these labels offer. This to me, this is a really cool package because I like the idea of owning something that gives you the full experience of like watching the movie, enjoying the movie, and then having the context for like how it was made.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool. And that's kind of what I'm after. If there's an edition of something that includes all these things out there, that's what I'm looking for these days. And Arrow, honestly, is one of the best out there.
Yeah.
In terms of I think affordability, their editions float somewhere between $25 and $60, depending on what they are and what's
Mhm.
included in them. And I think for what you get, they're one of the best value ones, and they're typically some of the best reviewed. They do their own restorations for the most part,
Oh, they do.
and you know that's a big part of it too, right? Like you want to have a great edition of a movie, and you want to know, in my opinion, I want to know that this is the best version that you can possibly get your hands on, right? So that if I sit down to watch it or show it to somebody, yeah, we're not in a movie theater, but like I'm gonna have the surround sound on. I'm gonna put this on. You're gonna have your best shot at like the best experience with the movie, and
Mhm.
that's the thought process, you know. So this is the one that got me back into it, and I think I paid like $40 for this, and it was totally worth it to me.
I
You know,
don't know that I've seen, because again, I don't have a DVD player. I don't have a
yeah,
Blu-ray player, so I have not watched physical media in some time, and I don't think I've seen a restoration of, like, an
okay,
old, like, 60s or 70s movie,
yeah,
and so, like, in my mind, if I think about watching The Warriors, some of the graininess, that's just part of, shooting on film and,
yeah,
shooting in low light and things like that.
yep,
Does the restoration completely clean all that up?
no,
Oh, okay.
no,
So, well,
no,
talk
no,
to me
no.
about the restoration then. Like, what I guess it would be different movie to movie, house to house, things like that. So,
Yeah.
like
So you actually played exactly into my hand because the next title I wanted to show you is a different kind of release, but is one of the gold standards for film restoration.
mhm,
And I know it's one of your favorite movies and one of mine, but Taxi Driver, right?
sure.
So this Taxi Driver 4K, blue-ray.com is one of the standards for like Blu-ray reviews, gold standard release. And what this movie shows you is if you pop this 4K in, you're going to see film grain, you're going to see that low light, you're going to see exactly what Scorsese wanted you to see in the best possible resolution. Um, Restoring a movie isn't about cleaning it up the frame, it's
Mhm.
about preserving the way that it looked when it was created. So
Interesting, yeah.
best way I can describe that is because it's that's sort of a moving target, right? Like depending on the movie,
Well, well.
the restoration for Taxi Driver is going to look a lot different than like Ben Hur, which is on my shelf. Now Ben Hur is not a favorite movie of mine, but I heard that the quality on that was outstanding, and I can tell you firsthand account. I watched the whole 3.5 hours of it across a couple of nights.
Mhm.
That's the best 4K I've ever seen in my life.
Really?
That honestly, you don't even need to be a fan of the movie to appreciate it. It's like
Mhm.
78 years old at this point. I
Mhm.
think 70 or 80 years old. You pop that movie in, it looks like it was shot yesterday. It just shows you like when the craftsmen do their job.
Mhm.
Film has a resolution that would be equal to like 16K in terms of our modern technology. So the
Mhm.
film has the resolution. It's just a matter of the right people taking the film, cleaning it, restoring the color levels back to what they're
Yep.
supposed to be
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
and doing it the right way, right? But the other reason I want to talk about this one is because I decided when I started collecting again that I wanted to get into steelbooks for the normal releases. They
Mhm.
call these like studio releases, right? Now there's a lot of different steelbooks out there. There have been since the DVD days. But again, if I wanted a collection, I kind of wanted it to be a little bit more premium this time.
Yeah.
So I didn't. I do want the restoration of Taxi Driver, but I want the steelbook of it because I want the thing that's a little bit more premium. So
Yeah.
like I could probably get the release for like $15 on sale. I paid 30 for this on Amazon, right? So I'm paying for the
Mhm.
steelbook. And because I've gotten a little bit OCD about things, I did buy these plastic protectors for the steelbooks. So I typically will take this, throw it in here, and it kind of sits on the shelf like that, right? Now, this could get a little bit OCD, right?
Mhm.
The steelbooks tend to get scratched pretty easily and
Yeah,
dented.
I would guess,
Um,
yeah.
but the Gladiator edition that I showed you,
Yeah.
any titles that I have one of those boxes for, I replaced the plastic protector for. So I kind of had aspirations that I would make my own of those boxes over
Mhm.
time and replace these plastic protectors with those. I just haven't had the time to do it, but
Yeah.
it's one of those things that like might be a little bit crazy to other people. Like, why would you spend money on an extra protector or box? But for me, it again is more about like I want to have the stuff in a nice edition. I want to keep it well, and I want it to last as long as I do. I guess
Yeah.
so. little bit different of a strategy this time for things.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah. All right, next one. You mentioned this label previously. It's Criterion. They're the gold standard. They're the one who has kept physical media alive. They also, I don't know if you know this or not, but they're the inventor of the movie commentary. The first movie commentary put on disc was, I think it was King Kong. It was either King Kong or Citizen Kane on Laserdisc. But if you look up movie commentaries, they're credited with creating the first ones.
Oh yeah.
But this was a more recent release. Top 10 movie of all time for me. This is Spinal Tap. I mean, Criterion, again, so two filmmakers are involved with Criterion that we love, Scorsese and Wes Anderson. Yeah. Wes Anderson's producer owns Criterion. That's why they release every one of his movies in Criterion. Scorsese helped found Janus Films. Janus Films does a lot of the restorations for Criterion. But if you get a Criterion release, you're getting the gold standard release. This one in particular is pretty cool. So, you get the Criterion packaging, right? This one's like what do they call this? I can't remember the name for these. It's not a flip book. In any case. But you crack this open. 3-disc edition. So this is a 4K, and it comes with the Blu-ray in it, plus the special features, which is great. But they always do a good job with the inserts, right? So, like, their booklet looks like an old 80s metal magazine.
That's awesome, yeah.
Profiles on the actors, stills from the movie, all that kind of stuff.
That's awesome.
And like I said, top 10 all time for me.
Hey guys, I want to tell you about our friends over at ParkSense.com. Go there and use the code BINGENOW20 at checkout for 20% off your entire order. If you like the Disney or Universal parks and want to bring some of the sensory magic back home, go to ParkSense.com and pick out your favorite candle, room spray, or wax melt. The best thing about ParkSense.com is the variety of scents that bring you right back to the park. The extraterrestrial adventure candle will remind you of Universal's E.T. ride, and the Wizard Beer's butterscotch scent will transport you to the Hogwarts Express right from your living room. So go to ParkSense.com, stock up on some fantastic smells, and use the code BINGENOW20 at checkout for 20% off your entire order. Thank you to ParkSense.com. And now, back to the show.
I would own this movie no matter who released it. The fact that Criterion did back in the day is great. And on this particular disc, there's actually a commentary by the three of them as their characters in the
character
movie.
That's amazing.
It's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. But yeah, Spinal Tap, all-time favorite.
Fantastic.
Next one I grabbed. So this one thing that's cool about 4Ks. So I have collected mostly 4Ks. 4Ks, excuse me, sorry about that. 4Ks are region free, which means that you can buy them from Australia, Japan, doesn't matter.
Sure.
4Ks will play on any player. That opens you up to be able to collect from all different countries. And other countries will get licenses to release certain films. This film has been released a bunch of times. Now, this particular boutique warehouse is called Second Sight. They're based in Australia. I have a couple Second Sight titles. We'll definitely talk about them on future episodes. This was the first one I wanted to lock down. I love this movie, and I love this edition. I found this used on Reddit, believe it or not, which is a really good place to find some of this stuff. But this is the Second Sight edition of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Cool. Yeah.
So this is another big box,
Jesus.
Right? Yeah. And this one in particular, they used the box art from the UK release, the original UK release.
See, that's the thing that I'm super interested in too, is getting like variant covers from other countries.
Yeah.
See like their interpretation of
huge part of it, right?
Yeah,
totally. As you know, you've got the posters behind you. I also collect the custom posters, right? So I like having the thing on my shelf that is a representation of like all aspects of whatever the movie is, that includes the posters and the art. So, but yeah, so this edition folds out, multiple discs here. So I think you've got the 4K Blu-ray and special features here. And this movie in particular and this release, they contracted an artist,
sick, dude.
Yeah, to do this custom art for the inside of the packaging.
That is
Um,
nice.
can't remember the name of the artist. Again, you end up with the postcards, right?
Mm-hmm. Very nice. Damn, that's nice.
Yeah, it could be Jason Edmiston. I can't remember. I'm sure you could Google this and find it right away. But and then the book again. This
Mm-hmm.
book is its own hardcover book, right? And this, I think, 185 pages. So again,
Holy shit.
reviews, production stills, historical context for like how it was made, why
Yeah.
it was made, why it matters. That's the thing to me. It's like I want the thing on the shelf to be the thing that if somebody's never seen the Texas Chainsaw Massacre before and they're curious about it, they can pull this off the shelf, watch the movie,
Mm-hmm.
and then if they're curious about it, they can know everything about it, almost like an encyclopedia piece or something, you know. And you can go as deep as you want to, but it's all right here, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I like that aspect of it, and it's just like, I mean, this is a couple pounds. This is not a they don't cheap out on the packaging, which I appreciate,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So depending on what you're after, this now I didn't mention before. So my general rule on pricing is I try to stay no more than $50 on a given release. Over time, I've realized that there's some stuff that I'm not going to be able to stay within that budget. So I try to keep the price down on other titles so that my overall total is under $50 for each release, right?
Yeah. So some of your favorite, let's say top 20 movies, you're probably going to spend a little bit more on those.
Or the releases that are super premium and rare, this being one of
Sure.
them.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I actually did pay about $95 on Reddit to get this.
Okay.
Second hand, right?
Secondhand, and the second site, can you order direct from there?
You can.
Okay.
But that's another thing, that this has been out of print. So a lot of these are out of print. The Warriors, that particular edition, out of print. You know, so that's another way that they get you on this stuff. Arrow and Second Sight sell a regular edition, but the premium editions, they're limited when they come out. I've got two more releases for you. Fire them off quick. So another place.
Hold on one second.
Oh yeah.
Artist Adam Stothard.
Oh okay. Yep.
Stoddard.
Yep.
That's who did the Texas Chainsaw. Second Sight.
There you go. All right. Next label that people might be interested in is called Vinegar Syndrome. Weird name. All right.
You were giving me a high level breakdown of Vinegar Syndrome the other day.
Yeah. Best way I can describe Vinegar Syndrome is they do a lot of cult film and they do a lot of crap, but they do incredible editions of that crap. Now, some of it, actually, they have a bunch of different lines that they do. One of them is called Vinegar Syndrome Ultra. Their big Vinegar Syndrome Ultra release for this month is the movie Explorers. So I know Pete would be stoked about that one.
Yeah.
One of their rare releases that's out of print, Showgirls. I've the day that I find it at the right price, I'm getting it. Like I'm just locking it down. This one is another one of their premium releases, also out of print. Also a movie that I think Binge loves and found on Reddit secondhand. That is Roadhouse.
So that's fucking awesome.
Yeah. So this one is very rare.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Now the thing that's unique about this is that it's closed on this side. I think Vinegar Syndrome may actually make overall the best box because the way it works is here you lift the side and there's a little magnet clasp. I don't know if I can show that.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
You know, so you crack this open, and then inside this is the presentation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you take this out with the little ribbon, which I love the touch with the ribbon, and double deuce on the inside, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you go from there, and then you get your release slipcover, right? Slipcovers are a big deal. Slipcovers keep the resale value high on this stuff.
Is that right?
Oh yeah. Out of the slipcover, there's your release. So you could buy this from Vinegar Syndrome, and it would just be this.
Gotcha.
Yep. Special features on the back, all that stuff. This artwork is also reversible. They give you the original poster artwork if you want that. And then, on the inside, 3-disc edition with the 4K. the Blu-ray and special features. So
Well,
again, booklet, right? So a little bit smaller booklet, but same kind of stuff.
okay, it's different than the last two
Yeah.
because the font is bigger on that one.
Yeah.
They're like,
Yeah.
we don't have
The
much on
thing
this one, but
the thing I like about Vinegar Syndrome is that they know exactly what they are and who they're catering to.
sure.
There's no like Criterion. They always serve whatever movie really well, but obviously they've got a lot of highbrow shit in the collection, and they can sometimes get a little snooty about it. I'll say a little pretentious. Vinegar Syndrome, dude, they released a Vinegar Syndrome Ultra version of Troll 2 and the Cabbage Patch movie last year. Okay. They don't care. Like, they're just, they're going to be freaks and lean into it. But really nice release, phenomenal 4K. And yeah, Roadhouse.
Ooh, Boxcar Bertha. Speaking of Scorsese.
Yep. That's so the thing about Vinegar Syndrome that's a little bit confusing too is they have these things called partner labels. So Vinegar Syndrome is a store and they handle the distribution and they have their own stuff that they release. But all of their partner labels use them as the distribution hub. So there are a lot of titles that go through Vinegar Syndrome that aren't actually Vinegar Syndrome. I have a couple on my shelf that we'll talk about in another episode. But there's some really interesting stuff, and those sub labels cater to specific different niches of film. Maybe the most infamous one is called Melusine. I think Melusine. I don't know how to pronounce it, but they are exclusively porn. That's it. It's literally just porn physical media from the 60s and 70s. That's all they do.
You do see that in some of the subreddits that you forwarded to me. People like, hey, this is basically $50 and it's like 30 porn DVDs.
Yep. A lot of freaks out there.
Yeah.
But if you want to pay for it, whatever.
Right. Yeah.
But that's the funny thing about Vinegar Syndrome. They do the freaky stuff, but then at the same time, they do the cinematograph releases. And you just said Boxcar Bertha.
Right.
They've done a bunch of Robert Altman movies. There's The Gambler, right? The James Caan movie. Like, they're one of the most interesting ones. And they actually have a sale coming up soon, the Halfway to Black Friday sale, where everything on the site is 50% off for a week. And it's a good time to pick the stuff up.
Shit, I got to put that on the calendar.
Yeah.
Because I can spend a good hour or so just leafing through all these pages.
Sometimes you just see a cover and you're just like, I kind of just need to know what that is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But last thing I pulled off the shelf. Now this is a little bit crazy, and I only got this because it was the right price on Reddit. I want to say it was $60. And it requires context. So the movie is a little bit of a controversial movie. It's Tenet. Okay. Now this comes with like a lenticular case.
Oh,
right?
Yeah, that's sick. Yeah, nice.
It's another one of these box sets. Artwork on the back.
Yep.
And this one is a limited edition of 169 of 750. I don't know if the camera's picking that up.
Yeah.
From a company called Film Arena. So, again, context for this. Internationally, excuse me, a lot of these 4Ks that get released in the US, they used to be sold at like Best Buy or Target. That doesn't happen anymore. But back when they were being sold, internationally, people couldn't get their hands on them. So what these companies like Film Arena and, I can't remember the name of the other one. There's 3 or 4 different companies that they just do this like box set distribution. So what they'll do is they'll license the title from the studio directly to sell in their country, but they'll add a bunch of bonus stuff into it, right? So if you were just going to Target back in the day, this steelbook with the lenticular cover, you could buy this for like $25 when Best Buy was still selling it, right? And there's nothing like that special in here. You're still getting the 4K, the Blu-ray, and the special features kind of stuff. But they would package it with their own version of a booklet, right? So this is more production stills focused, I would say, than some of the others. Because this is an independent company that's trying to up the value of like the premium product. A lot of
Hmm.
people don't love these releases because they don't offer a lot in terms of like the making of side of things.
So what would those special features be, or whatever additional features that they would add?
When I showed you the Arrow release for the Warriors, that booklet had
Mhm.
essays and interviews and, critical information about the movie over time. This is literally just, a section will say the Opera House shoot, and it shows these stills,
Mhm.
and then it just labels each of the stills and tells you, oh, this is a picture of Christopher Nolan directing. This is a picture of Christopher Nolan also directing. It's not like there's nothing in depth about this. It's a nice booklet,
Yeah.
but this is one of those things where there is no other premium edition of Tenet. And again, $60. So for me, the price was right,
Sure.
and it was a fine Reddit buy. The other stuff that you get with it, Film Arena adds these cards. This is like your proof of purchase card for your edition number.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Um, and
And
then a bunch of
who's that by again?
postcards. Film Arena, all
Film
one
Arena.
word.
Okay.
Yeah. Tons
Yeah,
of
that's cool.
postcards and stills,
Sick.
you know,
Yeah.
all kinds of stuff in there.
Very nice.
Um, But yeah, so I find with a lot of my collecting, it's actually I do a fair amount of research to see what's out there first
Mhm.
to figure out what I care about, right? So in your case, let's say Texas Chainsaw Massacre was on your list. So you could go about it two ways. You could go to Second Sight and you could buy it there, and you could just get the standard edition of what they offer. Or you could go and there's another what is it? Dark Sky Films. Dark Sky Films has an official steelbook release that was released in the United States.
Okay.
A lot of the special features overlap, but there are some that are unique to one and not the other. So sometimes you have to look at it and say, okay, what matters to me more? So
Yeah.
then what I'll typically do is I'll say, okay, are they both the same restoration? It turns out in the case of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, they're not. They were
Right.
done by two separate companies.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
in my research, from what I'm looking for, Second Sight did the better restoration. So that sort of made the decision for me. But I find that as I'm getting deeper into the hobby in this way, I'm being way more specific and intentional about what I'm buying. So I can kind of point to anything on the shelf behind me, and maybe we'll talk about more of them in the future, but like I can justify every one of those purchases against other versions of them. You know what I
Oh,
mean? Like
okay. I see what you're saying.
yeah, yeah.
Like, I'm not your wife. I don't give a fuck.
Well, especially to my wife, I was going
Right.
to say. You
Yeah.
don't understand. Ben-Hur was made 70 years ago, man. I mean, come on.
Look at it. Look at it. Looked like it was made yesterday. So that's one of the things that I was thinking about, and my instinct, or at least my impulse of tracking down and searching what definitive edition I want isn't necessarily what's going to be, hey, this is the definitive edition. It has 4K and Blu-ray and blah blah blah. I think I'm more interested in special features
Yeah.
and packaging.
Yep.
The format is, in terms of 4K or Blu-ray, it's not, I don't know if I hate to say it, but it's not that big of a deal to me, you
Mm.
know? So case in point, like we were talking about, I have the Criterion DVD of Royal Tenenbaums and Rushmore, but specifically Royal Tenenbaums, it's in my top 20. I don't know that I need to upgrade. And again, I don't know if that's out there, but I don't know that I need to upgrade for something like that. Like I love all those special features. I love the booklets that it comes with.
Yeah.
And I just, for me, that's it. But Goodfellas on the other hand, I got the old the snap case, and that barely has any special features on it. And I think we talked about this the other day offline. Um, there are a couple of different ultimate editions, special editions of Goodfellas, and but for the most part, the special features are the same in those.
Yeah.
So now
Yep.
it's just like it's kind of player's choice at that point.
Exactly. Exactly. I think the thing that I've learned about myself with this as I go is that it's my collection. And I think in the past I was trying to build the ultimate collection, and I
Yeah.
don't think I care to do that
Sure.
anymore.
Yep. Mhm.
I'm not interested in it. I don't want to spend my money that way. But
Not only
like, if
that, but,
I
like, who knows, that some other that a studio in the future can contact one of these, companies and
exactly,
do another version of it.
exactly. So that's honestly the most amount of my time gets spent when I'm looking this stuff up, deciding on the particular one that I'm after, and then doing the cost analysis of like, okay, there's a version of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre that comes with an actual like toy chainsaw, and it's $250.
Sure, yeah.
I don't need that.
Yeah, 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 totally,
Like, I'm
totally.
good.
Yeah,
But the second sight one, it ticked enough of the boxes for me where I said, okay, I'm interested. When I went and looked and saw what the cost was to try and lock it down, believe it or not, $95 was actually a good price for that, given the market. If you look on those subreddits now for this
mhm,
release, regularly goes in the 150 to 175 range. So it's just
okay.
one of those things. But again, the value of it to me is that I get to enjoy it. Like, I'm not in the game to buy and resell at this point.
Yeah,
I'm more just like, I want to have the right thing. So
case in point, I just had to confirm. I looked this up, and I just had to confirm it. So outside of my top 20, I'm also getting, kind of excited about completing some, box sets. So I
oh
have
yeah,
the first 3 seasons of The Sopranos on DVD. Like, do I need to upgrade that? I don't know that I need to upgrade that. Also, there's AMG, right? So, like, I don't
sure,
really care too much about that, but Game of Thrones, I have the first 2 on Blu-ray,
yeah,
and, I specifically wanna fill or complete that collection because the special features are really good in it.
yeah,
They have a lot of, like, in-universe, like, historical, featurettes, with all original animation and stuff like that. That's fucking dope, and,
yeah,
each I think it's still true. I gotta look it up, but, each Game of Thrones season is a different house,
hmm,
so that's kinda cool.
yeah,
But, one of the box sets I have is a DVD, box set of The Wire, the complete series.
oh yeah,
Now, we know that was presented in 4:3
hmm,
format, and, for those that don't know, I'm sure most people know, you get the black bars on the side.
hmm,
They did wind up releasing a
widescreen,
Blu-ray box set, in 16:9 widescreen.
yep,
I think that takes away from it. Like, I don't wanna, like, I think it has more special features on that one, but I like the 4:3 version. I think
mm,
I think it just plays to not only the time period, but, like, the grittiness of that story or
mm.
that TV show.
Yeah. This is what I like talking about now when I'm figuring this stuff out. It's like,
Mhm.
I don't want to just own the thing. I want to have the version of it that that I want to watch, that I want to own, that I want to show people.
Mhm.
Like, I want to show people the way that I was shown the thing, or the way that I discovered it. I
Yes.
think
Yeah.
that's part of what's important for me. But
Mhm.
for everybody that is different, and it should be different, right? Different priorities and different things we're all after.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, definitely.
so
So we're
yeah,
gonna look at this, Wire. Let's see what they got. Bonus features, 4 behind the scene documentaries, 22 audio commentaries with the cast and crew, 3
yeah,
prequels that explored the life before The Wire, all new, Paley Center for Media event, The Wire Reunion. I'm pretty sure the box set that I currently have has those first 3 bonus features, because
yeah.
I do remember the prequels being on there, and I don't think so. 22 audio commentaries. So obviously not every single episode. It's just select episodes with, the cast and crew.
Mm,
Um, so again, this, and the big selling point, it's like the big headline on this packaging is experience The Wire like you've never seen before, all 60 episode remastered in HD widescreen. That's great, but I don't think I'm like, I love my old school,
mm.
box set of The Wire, so I don't think I need I don't need a Blu-ray version of it. I definitely don't need it in widescreen, so I think I'm good.
Yeah, I mean, there was a second sight box set of the Blair Witch Project that was released in 4K.
Mhm.
I want to say last year, and it was a huge release. People went nuts for it. and people loved it. But I also saw an equal amount of people say the bonus features are cool and all that, but like part of what makes this good is the fact that it's like a gritty DVD,
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. That's how I feel about The Wire. Yeah.
And I totally respect that.
Yeah.
Totally respect that.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, those are the kind of things that I consider when I'm going through the process and figuring out if it's something that I want to add to the shelf or if I want to kind of wait it out, see if something better is coming down the line or whatever. And again, I don't need to own
Mhm.
absolutely everything anymore. I just don't
Right.
feel that way. So it's just a different thing.
Mhm.
But I'm having a good time with it. So I'm glad we're doing something like this. I've wanted to do something physical media for a while.
Yeah, 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 we've talked about
Um,
it, yeah.
yeah, I know we've been talking about it back and forth, but yeah, this is good. So I will definitely be thinking for next time of some different titles because I again, you guys can see the shelf behind me, but there's a lot of stuff up there from all over the world, and there's some really cool stuff out there, and it's not all going to break the bank on you.
Yeah.
Some of it will, but not all of it. And
Mhm.
I think it's a great time if you're looking to get into the hobby and really really enjoy it. So
Yeah. I think, one of the people I think I wanna get on, I was thinking about this yesterday because I was with him, is, Kupka, who's a
oh yeah,
big collector of not only, uh, just physical media, but, posters, Legos, just a fanboy from back to front, so, he's, somebody that I definitely wanna get on, and his new place, I don't know if it's all completely set up, so I'll talk to him about that, but as
yeah.
we wrap up, what's on your horizon? What are you looking for? Is there
Yeah,
anything specific you're looking for right now or no?
yeah, it's more I'm kind of waiting for these studios to release licenses for a couple of movies.
Okay.
Spinal Tap was on my list for a long time, but Children of Men, like that'll be a day one purchase whenever it gets released. Master and Commander came out last year. That was on
That's
my
right,
list for
yep.
a long time.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's funny. I'll kind of know it when I see it, sort of thing. I don't know that I've necessarily got a target on a whole lot. Actually, that's not true. So there is an Arrow release in the UK of To Live and Die in LA that I kind of want to
Mm.
get my hands on.
Yeah,
And there's also a UK release for The Taking of Pelham 123
nice.
that's out there. Those were both. So this is another thing we'll talk about on another show. But there's a label called Kino Films,
Sure.
Kino Lorber. Kino Lorber, a lot of the time, gets the license in the US to release it, whereas another label will get the license to release it in the UK. And that happens with a lot of titles between Kino Lorber and Criterion and Kino Lorber and Arrow, because there's a Kino Lorber for both Taking of Pelham 123 and To Live and Die in LA. But the artwork and the special features, to me, are a little bit better on the Arrow releases. And
Mhm.
because they're region free, to me, I'd rather get the UK releases, which you
Sure.
can get through places like Diabolic DVD, Orbit DVD, Atomic Movie Store. We can talk about those on another show too. You don't necessarily need to import these things yourself directly from the warehouses. There are online stores who do that for you, so you can avoid the import fees and things like that.
What was the other one besides Diabolic?
Diabolic DVD,
Mhm.
Orbit DVD, which is probably my favorite.
Okay.
Um, Atomic Movie Store.
Sure. Yep.
There's another one called Bull Moose, which has a bunch of locations in New Hampshire and Maine, I want to say.
Mhm.
Um, those four. And then Amazon, obviously, when certain movies go up for like a pre order, typically, if a movie's coming out and I'm going to see it in the theater, I will throw a pre order on it before I see the movie just in case. And then
Mhm.
after I see the movie, I'll say, okay, well, I don't need a copy of, Scream 7 or something.
Yeah, yeah, I
um,
gotcha.
but I find because of the scarcity that they build into this now, sometimes it's smarter to just throw the pre-order down and know that you have it for the $30 versus playing the game later and spending like 45 on it.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at, Kino Lorber now, and they have a up to 50% off, uh,
Yep.
Cannes Film Festival sale, so,
Yeah.
Bad Lieutenant
All
in
of these
4K for, like, $20.
all of these different stores have sales year round at
Uh,
different times. On one of the subreddits I sent you, I want to say the boutique Blu-ray one,
mhm.
somebody has mapped out when all the sales happen all throughout the year. So it actually makes sense to like wait
That's awesome.
for the sales
I can't
so
wait to
that you know.
yeah.
Yeah, so that you know when it's like, because Criterion, only suckers buy Criterion when it's not the 50% off sale. There's no
Well,
point.
So, didn't they just recently have a sale? Because I was looking at
Yeah.
the subreddit. They recently had a sale where, Criterion members got, like,
Yep. 30%
fucking
off.
sick deals, man. Absolute
Yep.
fucking disgusting deals. Like,
Yeah.
so cheap, man.
Well, I mean, so my $50 limit, right? A
Mhm.
Criterion 4K is priced at 50 retail, usually 40 most of the time, right? But during the
Right.
sale, it's $25. So for $50, I can get Spinal Tap and
Absolutely.
I can't think of another one off the top of my head. Like a Princess Bride, right? I
Yeah.
can get both of those for $50 instead. So yeah, that's part of the game too, knowing when the sales are and not overspending, and then that allows me to rationalize spending $95 on the secondhand Texas Chainsaw Massacre because I saved the money on the other titles. So there you
Yeah,
go.
yeah, yeah. Ooh, look at that. The Usual Suspects.
Yep, yep.
4K UHD, 1999.
There you go.
It's in my top 20, spoiler alert.
Oh boy. So yeah,
But
a lot of good
is
stuff.
that the edition I want, though? You know what I mean?
Well, the Arrow edition is kind of nice and comes with a poster, so you might want to
Alright.
look at that. Yeah.
Okay, okay. One last thing is, you just mentioned that you're waiting for some titles, from a studio to release some titles for, licensing. Um,
Sure.
where how are you keeping up with news like that? Like, where are you keeping updated with shit like that?
Yeah, the subreddits and the stores that you buy from typically will have newsletters that they email out, and just
Oh,
kind
that's
of
good,
getting
yeah.
into the scene.
Yeah.
You sort of get a vibe for like what's coming down the pike, and when announcements are coming for certain things, and you
Mhm.
also get a sense for like which labels are probably going to release a certain type of movie. Like you would never see a Wes Anderson movie get released by Arrow because Criterion's got it locked down, right?
Mhm.
But you would see early Scorsese movies released by Vinegar Syndrome because not all of them are owned by the same production company, right? So like there's variance to things. And like Warner Archive is obviously going to be all older Warner Brothers movies. Kino Lorber has its lane. Like the more that you get into this, the more you'll kind of understand what labels and like the types of movies that they want to focus on releasing in their sort of clientele, which is
Okay.
another aspect of it.
You said
You
early
know,
Scorsese films?
yeah,
So,
some
like,
like
Who's That Knocking on My Door and Mean Streets?
yeah, so well, Mean Streets is a good example, right? So
Okay.
that one there is a Criterion 4K, but there's also a Second Sight 4K, and that had to do with licensing issues. Criterion had the rights in the U.S. Internationally, nobody had the rights. So Second
Mm.
Sight then made a box set for Mean Streets, which is a really nice box set.
God damn it. I'm
Yeah,
running
yeah.
out of note cards. Here, Mean Streets. And you
Oh
said
man,
Second Sight had that?
Second Sight did, yeah, and I
Alright.
think you can find that box set still available, even though it's limited on Orbit, because I've had it in my cart several times and said no.
Nice. Sick. Alright, man. Well, I think this is a good first episode, having you on,
For sure.
detailing some of the process, right? Some of the process of, like, how you go about these things, because I think, obviously everybody does, and that's what this show is for, right?
Yeah, yeah, and I definitely am excited to talk about more of them as we go. I'll tell you right now, the more of these episodes we do, you're going to see a lot of Arrow releases because I think Arrow is the best in the business, personally.
Okay.
Like, and they release a lot of movies that I love and that are just dope additions. So,
Fantastic. All right, Jack, and everybody, thank you for joining us on this DVD haul. We'll see Pete next time, and make sure you support us on Patreon, patreon.com/binge media. Our patrons for $5 a month get early access to videos like this, uh, vote on commentaries, and do some live streams every now and then too. So go and support us. You get our archive going all the way back to 2016, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time. See ya.